Our guest today is Christy Seymour. She is the director of The Lion King Jr., which is coming up at the Ashtabula Arts Center. I think every kid in Ashtabula County is in The Lion King from the pictures I've seen. Is that pretty accurate?
There are 50 kids from ages 8th grade and under in this production of Disney's The Lion King Jr., yes.
And from all over, just Ashtabula County? Or?
Ashtabula County, but we have one person who is from Lake County. So.
Okay. What I think is interesting about this is the fact that this is actually a class and that all these parents paid to have their kids in it.
Yes, yeah, it's a children's production theater class.
So they learn more than just acting.
Yes. So we start out, our first class, we talked about terms that you use in the theater, and we took, I took 3 different groups backstage and gave them a tour of the theater and what we call it, things like that. We taped out the stage so that they learn how the stage is going to be when they're on the real stage, because we have to work in a rehearsal space for our rehearsals. We learned, they had to learn a different language because it's the Lion King, so they had to learn Zulu and Swahili, and so a lot of the time was spent going over language and pronunciation and things like that. So,
and this is like some kids that are like 5 years old, right?
Yes, there are kids that cannot read in the show. That's not normally, but it just happened to be because everybody wanted to be in it. So we had a lot of kids that, you know, are younger than normal, than we expected. But they all have been doing a really great job. But yeah, the fact that they are from, like I said, 8th grade down, there's a lot of the leads are probably 9, 10, 11, 12. For the main characters, and then there's the ensemble varies from big kids to little kids, and so you do different things with them because you've got kids that have experience and kids that don't. And I made a model of what the stage looks like and the set looks like, so that they could visualize it and try to make sure that those kids that have never done anything are familiar with what's going to happen next week or in the coming week when we get on stage. So.
These kids start with this, though. Like I noticed, I was watching some videos I shot a few years ago. The little kids, and they are the kids that were in like Grease, that are teenagers and sometimes 20-somethings.
Yeah. So, that's the goal of this class, is to teach the kids how to not only understand the stage, but how a production is put together. So we talk about step by step what we're going to do. I always, at the beginning of every rehearsal, I say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, then we're going to take a break, or we're going to do this, or you people are going to do this. We have a very set schedule every time, which in an adult production, you don't do that. You have one, but then you kind of sometimes, oh, you know what, I'd like to spend some more time on this. You can't do that with 50 kids. Can't do that with 50 kids, so you've got to just kind of move on. But we set up a schedule so they understand what they're doing, they understand their responsibilities, so that way when they want to do another show, like in the summer, it's not a class, it's an actual production. And this helps a lot of kids get ready for something like that, where they have rehearsal every night rather than 2 days a week. They have, rehearsal 4 to 5 days a week, and that's a lot of involvement for the kids and for the parents. So it prepares them for that time that we give them, so that they're ready to go on to more.
Right. Now, and this is your first time directing kids this young, is that correct?
The exclusive kids full show. I have done the kids camp before, the multi-arts camp that the Art Center holds every summer. I have done that before, but that's only a 3-week.
You've also done adults and high school students.
Yes, I've done, used to direct at Jefferson area high school there, the theater productions there, and then I have directed a lot of shows here at the Art Center. The producers, the Addams Family. I did do Annie, so I did have 25 orphans in that. But I limited it to 25 so that it was easier to control, because I had a lot of adults in the show too. But yeah, this is the first time I've done this size of a production, and The Lion King is the biggest children's production class that we have ever done.
Really? Is it just because it's The Lion King and people are familiar with the story, the movie?
Right, they're familiar with the movie, but the play, or the musical, is got a lot more to it, because it has that aspect, that part of the African language, that all these kids are learning a second language. And then the script is so well written that it has a dictionary in the back telling them what they're actually saying in the African language. So they're learning so much more than just theater stuff with this production. They're learning about how many people it takes to do a production, because I have 3 adult assistants with me because it's 50 kids and I could never do that by myself. And then I have people that are in charge of the costumes, and we have parents and parents and more parents working on these costumes every time that we have a production class. So there's 2 hours every Monday and Wednesday we do our class, and there's so many parents who are in the art room, in the pottery room, working, paper macheing, cutting out fabric. They bring their sewing machines. I mean, it's just amazing.
If you go to the Asheville Arts Center's site on Facebook and see all the people working with the kids and the person at the piano with the kids, and then all of the costume and stuff, it looks a bit like they're planning for the burning of Atlanta and Gone with the Wind.
We practically are. We'll see. We're running out of time very quickly, and the show is coming up.
The dates
are March 8th, 9th, and 10th, and March 15th, 16th, and 17th. Friday and Saturdays are at 7:30, and Sundays are at 2 o'clock.
So if this runs the week when I'm supposed to, this will be this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
right,
when this airs up.
Yes.
So you have all these parents that they're sending their kids, they're giving their time, but they're also sending the kids here, spending money and stuff. What do kids get out of theater production like this?
Oh, well, I have noticed one of the biggest things is they get new friendships. Friendships from people that aren't at their school, or friendships from people that our kids are at their school that they didn't even know.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things that I think is wonderful. My son is in the show, and his classmate is in the show too, and they didn't even know they're both auditioning. No one else, Maxie's never had anybody else in his class that's doing it. So that's so exciting that they've now got a different kind of friendship than they had at school. Other things that kids learn is they learn that there are rules and structure to everything, and not just school. School doesn't just have rules, but we have to have rules that when we are running a scene and they're not in the scene, then they have to learn to be quiet, and they have to learn to be observant and pay attention. And I remind them, hey, this could be you someday. So you want to make sure to make that step. And we do have our cast is broken up into 3 lion prides. And so we have the main characters, they're one pride. Then we have the lionesses and the hyenas, which are the kids that have been in other shows and have some experience. And then we have the little kids, or the new kids that have not ever done anything like this and really are unfamiliar with what they're doing. And each group, our goal as me and my 3 helpers, our goal is to make each one of those groups get to the next level, to move to the next group. So we want the kids that are brand new to be the experienced ones next time for the next production class that they do at the Art Center, so that they can already be role models. And I expect a lot from my lead characters, who some of them are actually new. We have 4 new lead characters that have never done theater before. Except for they've done something like a reading at church, which is great, because then they're not scared about being in front of people. So that's why we felt confident about casting them in those lead characters. But that's huge. Both of our Simbas, the young Simba and the older Simba, have never done anything in theater. And they have really shown that they have an amazing amount of talent, but they don't know about theater. And so those people, even though they're older kids or they have important parts, they've had to also learn things that they were not aware of, what stage right was, what stage left was, learning that there's a role that you play as an actor, and there's a role that the director plays, and you don't mess with those, because otherwise a production never gets done. So they're learning a lot of, even all the important things that they are learning are for everybody, even the experienced ones.
And the fact that I know I had 2 grandsons that were in plays before they ever went to kindergarten. And and that's not unusual at all.
Right.
And that they all learn that they have responsibilities. They may not feel well, but they have to be there, and you have to be at a certain place so that somebody else can do what they have to do.
Yes, and it's teaching a level of responsibility that is not tied with grades. It's not tied with whether you get a check mark in a music class or something. It's tied with the what you get from the performance part. But all I hear is that the kids are having fun. The kids are having so much fun. So they're not even realizing how disciplined and how structured it is. They are having fun with it, but are learning the ropes, basically. They're really learning the ropes so that they could audition. The Art Center just announced their Straw Hat Theater, which is the outdoor thing, and the kids show is Shrek Jr. Well, so a lot of these kids are going to be really excited about going to do that, but they'll be ready. They'll be ready after this. If they can learn to work with 50 other kids, and they can learn to be respectful to all the adults, and to see the commitment that their parents have gotten by being a part of the costumes, by offering help, by sitting at the Art Center, for those 2 hours and listening so that these kids are listening to their CDs. They get CDs of the music, and these parents are sitting through these CD songs over and over and over. But the kids are saying, hey, my mom and dad are proud of me for being in this. My grandmother can't wait to come and see it. And it's going to give them a level of pride and self-assurance that you don't get from a lot of activities.
Well, when you have to learn dialogue, you have to learn songs, you sing in front of a huge group of people.
Right.
And you have to dance, and your feet have to be in certain places while you're singing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot for somebody that's 6 or 7. It'd be a lot for me.
There is, so I am also a teacher. During the day, I'm a teacher, and we happen to have 4 kids from my school that are in the show, and they will stop and see me in the hallway, and they will say, oh, I was working on my dance steps last night, Mrs. Seymour. Oh, I went and did this, or I watched the movie again because I want to make sure that I understand what's going on in the show. So they're excited because they're sharing how important it is to them and that they value this experience. And they're kindergartners. There's 3 kindergartners, and it's great that they know that at 5 years old, they know that this is important and they have to take their time on it. And so to see that I get to run across that during the day when I'm at school too, is very rewarding for me, that's very nice.
So you're going to get a lot of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors in there. What about people that don't have anybody? There might be like 5 people in the whole county don't have somebody related to somebody in the production. Why should they go see it?
Well, I think that everybody should go see theater. I have done theater my whole life, and I think that everybody should experience live theater because it is getting away from those electronics, getting away from the world that you kind of sink yourself into in front of your phone or at your workplace or in front of your computer, and it gets you out of that and just brings, I think, pure happiness to the soul. That's what theater is. And
there's a lot of familiar songs though with this too.
Yes, it's all the music is all from the movie, plus they have added more when they made it a play, a musical. And so they have added more, and this beautiful, the African language is all singing. And so there are these beautiful tones underneath that I don't think people even notice in the movie when they're watching the cartoon during the stampede. There is some beautiful music going on, but you don't hear it because you're concentrating on what's happening to Simba and how exciting it is that there's a stampede coming and you want him to survive. But there's this beautiful chant going on underneath it that the kids will be able to show. And if you don't have a kid in the show, another reason is to see what the future of Ashtabula County is doing with their time. The fact that they are committed and they are using their time away from all the distractions of their technology world, which is, for kids nowadays, it is 24 hours a day. Yeah. It is there no matter what parents do or don't do. It's still there.
Yeah, we've got about 30 seconds, but I just wanted to mention too is that if you're not, you go to these things and you're thinking of like a high school or a grade school little program where they're whispering the words to the kids and stuff.
No.
This is a very professional. These kids know their thing and they know where it is. People are going to be impressed.
I believe so. The kids' performance and their commitment, number one. The costumes, if you just come to see the costumes, because they are amazing. Look at the pictures on the Ashtabula Art Center's Facebook page for those.
Okay. Lion King the next 2 weekends at the Ashtabula Arts Center. Christy Seymour, thank you.
Oh, thank you.